We all love next day delivery, don't we? And we all love $188 billion worth of profit. That's why we all love Amazon. But is it worth the cost of human lives, deaths, and cover-ups? Yes. You 4.7 million wonders, let us walk together in this world, awakening in harmony, moving towards the light, awakening the great glory within us so that we can create wonder for ourselves and others. In fact, let's create a distribution network where we're all interconnected and can get the things we need, and let's see if we can do it without killing anyone. Amazon are nearly there, but apparently the profits that Amazon garner come at the cost of human life. Let's have a look at this story in more detail. I suppose what we're going to establish over the course of this story is the connection between the profits and the deaths, because what media and the system are adept at doing is making these two worlds somehow disconnected. Well, that's just the economy collapsing, but what about all those record profits over there? That's nothing to do with it. Don't even think about it. There's a person over there what don't even have a vaccine. As Jeff Bezos celebrates his 58th birthday, just weeks after he was pictured on a super yacht, it's reported that 2 Amazon factory workers died after being told to carry on working despite feeling unwell. I don't feel well. You're exaggerating. No, I really don't feel well. Carry on working. Hey, you will be poor if you're not prepared to work hard. That's the consequences. 2 Amazon workers reportedly died within hours of each other in November, with one dying at the facility and another after they were taken away by an ambulance. Now do you believe me? All right, keep working in that ambulance. The workers were reportedly on duty at an Amazon warehouse in Bessemer, Alabama. According to 2 workers who spoke out after the incident, the pair were told to carry on working despite feeling unwell. Workers who spoke with the worker right organisation More Perfect Union claim that 6 people have died at the facility in 2021 and have accused Amazon of trying to cover up the incidents. That does seem like a lot of people to die. I mean, I say by the time a person dies, a serious review of your practices must be undertaken, ideally to ensure that don't happen again. Oh, it's happened again. Right, well, are you going to do something? No, still not. Amazon spokesperson Kehinde Andrews said the claims were lies. These claims are just false, and it's really disappointing that anyone would spread misinformation about something like this to try and advance their own agenda. What's that agenda? You're trying to spread misinformation, but it's my husband. I mean, to tell the truth, it should be a pretty easy thing to record, isn't it? Either there were some people working there that ain't working there anymore, and the reason for that is they ain't alive anymore, and when they stopped being alive, they were there at that exact moment. I mean, either that's true or it ain't. Amazon day shift worker Isaiah Thomas said the man went to HR and said, "I'm not feeling so well, can I please go home?" But noted that many workers fear taking time off beyond their allotted hours for fear of being terminated. Like in the film Terminator. He didn't have enough unpaid time off to go home, and so they're effectively telling him, you either go home and lose your job, or you just stay here and keep working through the pain, and that's what he did. I suppose, look, let's face it, perhaps we all participate, we do, don't we, because we all enjoy getting parcels delivered quickly, effectively, and at no cost. But, of course, there is a cost. The cost has been that person has died because there aren't effective strategies for ensuring people can be taken care of when they feel stuff. Any of us that have got any sort of agenda, whether it's like running a business, running a household, running your own life, you suddenly, sometimes, don't you, find yourself in situations where you sort of go a bit, like, not evil, but a bit hard and go, well, I just need this done. You know what I mean? It's sort of in there. It's in the mix of us as animals to survive. But individually and collectively, what we should be promoting are values that are contrary to that, because deep down, we all know that human life is more valuable than $188 billion worth of profits or getting a parcel quickly. But empirically, we don't live like that. Workers claimed that Amazon managers told the rest of the workers to continue working and not speak about what happened. Carry on working, but what about, don't speak about what didn't happen. Don't speak about what didn't happen to him, but he's starting to decay. Don't speak about him. Get on with your job. He didn't even die. Oh, it's another one. Look, same rule as that one. Perry Connolly said some of the workers who interacted regularly with the individual who died were upset by the death and wanted to go home, but were not allowed. Well, what that is a lack of humanity. Now we're straying into a territory. They knew him as a human being, and they sort of had feelings of solidarity and companionship and fraternity. Imagine being one of those people in that room. Let me know in the comments below how you think you would feel if someone you're working with died and the people that you work for said, just don't talk about that and carry on working. Hold on, I'm having a reaction to that death. Don't, or you will lose your job. There's no shutdown, there's no moment of silence. No silence, but no talking either. No shutdown, no moment of silence, there's no time to sit and have a prayer. Oh man, Mr. Connolly said. That's, in a sense, again, do you see how often the stories we do on this channel function as allegories for our time? Whether it's examples of how there is a dislocation between elites and elite decisions and the reality that most people live in, or a moment like this where you think people's humanity, their spirituality is being stripped from them. Ordinary human beings saying there ain't no time to sit in prayer. We're losing who we are, the tiny moments of delicate contact between us that are being annihilated in the pursuit of ideals that are not, this is not so that we can build utopia, it's just so one person in this case, and some people generally, can become more rich. Mr. Connolly said, you're a body. Once that body's used up, they'll just bring somebody else in and do the work. Amazon has been criticised in the past for putting workers in dangerous situations. The company's warehouses have nearly 80% higher rates of serious injuries than other companies that operate warehouses, according to the Strategic Organising Centre. Well, that's bad, isn't it? 8%. It's pretty significant, and that's where that profit's coming from. I mean, they're not doing it to be cruel and mean. They're not enjoying it, I really presume, surely. So it's connected to their efficacy and their profitability, but any system that requires human death, like you would think, is not an effective one. I mean, look at what's happening, for example, around the health situation at the moment. Surely what underwrites the most ardent regulation is human life is sacred. We have to protect human beings. We have to protect each other. What about in the Amazon factory? Human life's irrelevant. Human life's meaningless. Profit's all that matters. Okay, so profit matters. Let's apply that to what's going... Wait a minute! 6 workers were killed last month. Month? I thought this was ever. If your intention was to kill people, that's bloody good going. As a side effect, that's astonishing. 6 were killed last month because Amazon insisted they keep working during a... during a tornado? That's literally the plot of The Wizard of Oz. Wait, there's a tornado. So what? Carry on in the farm. No, I'm worried we're going to get took to Oz. Shut up. Get on with your job, Dorothy. The corporation's poor safety record and sky-high, literally in this case, sky-high staff turnover, literally in this case, are caused by one thing. Treating people as disposable is better for Amazon profits. And it's not just Amazon. This is a system that we've all co-signed and that we all live within to various degrees, and it will take an absolute sort of deliberate, focused effort to unwrench yourself from. These workers were killed because Amazon has an ongoing policy of threatening people's jobs and coercing employees to continue working through dangerous situations, whether it's a tornado, a pandemic, or just the daily grind of making rate during a 10-hour shift. I can't believe that's your reality for some of you. A recurring complaint from Amazon warehouse and delivery workers has been the feeling that they're completely disposable. Amazon has a nationwide weekly turnover rate of 3%, or roughly 30,000 employees. Wow. Equivalent to a total replacement of all its hourly workers every 8 months. They've worked out that business model and they've determined that that is better than giving people pensions and all that kind of stuff. And they'll never do that unless there's an opposition movement. While many companies consider high turnover costly, Amazon's workplace is designed for rapidly replacing workers. Jeff Bezos famously called an entrenched workforce a march to mediocrity. Rapid turnover also benefits Amazon's bottom line by making long-term strategies like unionising more difficult and stopping employees from accessing the benefits accrued over time, repeatedly touted by company spokespersons as an advantage of working there. High turnover thus accelerates a race to the bottom, whereby wages get repeatedly reset to their starting point. In a practice being mainstreamed by Amazon, workers after their first year of employment are offered increasing sums of cash up front if they choose to quit. In 2019, to make the point clearer, Amazon hired around 770,000 new hourly workers, but had fired or lost more than 660,000 by the end of the year. Natural disasters, such as this tornado, cannot themselves be controlled, but they are predictable and in fact predicted. Far from being a freak accident, Illinois weathers an average of 54 tornadoes each year. Bloody hell. And it's located on the border of what's known as Tornado Alley. Who would have thought a tornado? What, here in Tornado Alley? Quick, let's go to Hurricane Lane and hide. Boss. When Amazon decided to construct this Edwardsville facility in 2018, it was always a question of when, not if, a tornado would hit. During a press conference the following Monday, Amazon's Senior Vice President of Global Delivery Services, John Felton, said all procedures will follow correctly. What? The procedure is don't mourn death. And in the event of a death, just ignore it. I ignore death. In a sense, he was right. It is company procedure to keep scores of workers on site during natural disasters. This guy's productivity's gone down. He's dead, sir. Okay, yeah, that would explain it. It's company procedure to continue working through severe weather alerts and tornado sirens, and it's company procedure to wait until a tornado has actually touched down before allowing workers to stop and find shelter. Right, so they chose Tornado Alley because it's bloody cheaper there. Well, what if we just ignore the tornadoes? Well, won't people be killed? Yeah? Looking at what author James Tyler calls the political economy of death, we can infer from this catastrophe that the value of workers' lives at Amazon is less than the potential profits from a single day or single hour of their labour. If those calculations were otherwise, Amazon would have simply allowed workers to go home once the National Weather Service issued an emergency alert. These calculations in the aggregate are what Tyler calls economic bioarithmetic, whereby many are left to die so that others may enjoy the fruits of dead labourers. I don't think I want dead labourer fruit. What's for dinner tonight, Mum? Dead labourer fruit? It tastes a bit melancholy and grief-stricken. Well, it would. Look, in a way, this is just an amplification of something that we all know. Human life is disposable, and your life is only valuable in so much as you can participate in an economic system. That's what homelessness is. That's what poverty is. That's what mental illness is. These people can't participate in these systems. Get out, you're finished, you're screwed, we don't care. In this example of Amazon, it's just more pronounced, as good myths and metaphors and allegories must be, because there's record-breaking profits at one end, the worst kind of disposability of human life at the other end. So we can see what the system is actually behaving like. We can no longer ignore it, but we do tend to ignore it because some truths are pretty hard for us to bear, particularly if they are truths that are not convenient to us. And our pricing of convenience is detrimental. This is the price of Amazon Prime's next day deliveries. No, dead labourer fruits. Okay. We have to insist on a reinterpretation of these tragic deaths in Edwardsville as what they are. Murder. While they happened during a natural disaster, they were not natural deaths. Speaking of the premature death of English workers in the 19th century, Friedrich Engels wrote of this same common misrepresentation. Because no man sees the murderer, because the death of the victim seems a natural one, since the offence is more one of omission than of commission, but murder it remains. I suppose this is how we frame information. If a set of circumstances inevitably lead to death, but no one is visibly or obviously or empirically culpable, then that doesn't mean that something adverse hasn't happened. If you think again about what's happening at the moment, it's people like, if you don't do this, then it could lead to this problem for that person, and human life is valuable. So, like, there's nothing wrong with that ideology as long as it's consistent, but it isn't consistent, is it? It's only being used when it might lead to benefits and profits, we would have to say appears to be the common denominator across these stories. If you say, what benefits the powerful, powerful interests, powerful elites, powerful groups, institutions, how do they get profit without even delving into conspiracy stuff, you'll usually see trends of how the system is operating, and that helps as a diagnostic tool, if nothing else. But I suppose also shows you what problem has to be addressed. There's no point messing around with all these other sub-problems. Address that problem. Go for the head of the beast. If you go for that problem, then many of these other problems will get dealt with. For Amazon workers, dying is the cost of doing business, and it often costs less than keeping them alive. Allowing workers to die in this way is a rational choice for Amazon's bottom line, and it is a choice the company makes time and time again. So by that analysis, this is a kind of deliberate murder. There is a direct connection between Amazon's profits and the deaths of those people, and due to the expertise of that writer, it's pretty clear that that is a story that can be told. We live in a world not made of atoms, but a world made of stories. Which stories are promoted at the moment? Which narratives do you live within? Who benefits from those stories being believed? These are questions you have to ask yourselves and ask of one another. This is a conversation we can continue in the comments below, so we can enrich ourselves, so we can learn together from one another. Please share this video around. I'd love that. Give it a like if you're so inclined. If you enjoyed this video, have a look at this one. And if you want to develop the spiritual side of your nature, and God knows you need to, sign up to my Awakening channel. Please sign up to my mailing list so I can remain in regular contact with you and tell you about what I'm doing this year, including some very, very exciting live events that will only be accessible through my mailing list. Stay free.